Absolute power corrupts absolutely is a pretty absolute statement. When I'm in charge, I think I do pretty well. You don't get to have a say. Welcome to Deep Thoughts While Gaming. I'm Chris Chappell. It's often said that the path to hell is paved with the best intentions, that even the noblest cause can be twisted into the wickedest of evils, especially when combined with the corrupting influence of absolute power. 20th century philosopher Eric Hoffer put it best, stating, "Absolute power corrupts even when exercised for humane purposes. The taint inherent in absolute power is not its inhumanity, but its anti-humanity." Nowhere is this lesson clearer than in communism. Well, that and in Nintendo's cute and colorful despotism sim, Pikmin. Have you ever wondered, do I have what it takes to be a dictator? To inspire the faceless masses to sacrifice themselves for my greater good? Pikmin will give you your answer. The Pikmin series starts off seemingly innocent enough. After crash landing on a mysterious planet, Olimar, the so-called hero of the game, is left stranded with nothing but a half-destroyed spaceship and his suit's dwindling life support. All seems lost until he finds the titular Pikmin creatures. Pikmin have a number of abilities, but their most striking is their capacity to reproduce via bringing back fallen foes to their nests, dubbed onions, and their unfathomable loyalty. Pikmin are a totalitarian's dream come true. They will listen to anything, and I mean anything, they are ordered to do. They toil tirelessly from sunrise to sunset to fulfill Olimar's every command, be it building bridges, tearing down walls, carrying objects hundreds of times their size, or even battling vicious predators to the death. They'll do it all and more, day in and day out, until death do them part, with nary a single complaint. They're truly creatures after Jeff Bezos' own heart. You know, if he had one. There's just one hitch. Pikmin won't do much of anything at all, unless they're directly ordered to, even if it means saving their lives. It's a wonder they haven't gone extinct if they need Olimar to remind them that lounging around while ravenous bullborbs devour their ranks maybe isn't the best idea. Suffice to say, Pikmin are, well, how can I put this tactfully? Stupid. They will blissfully waltz into a raging inferno and burn themselves to a crisp unless they're closely watched. As such, the game leads you to believe that there's nothing wrong with micromanaging every waking moment of your Pikmin's lives according to your every whim. After all, Olimar would die without their help, and it's for their own good anyway, isn't it? That's how totalitarians view things anyway, that the people need their guiding hand. Contrast that to the United States, where the people govern themselves, at least on paper anyway. However, commanding an army of Pikmin is like being a preschool teacher. No matter how hard you try nor how closely you watch them, sooner or later, somebody's going to get hurt. But whereas preschoolers get sent off to the nurse's office, Pikmin aren't so lucky and often pay for their, or your, mistakes with their lives. No nurse can bring a Pikmin back after getting crushed under the foot of a towering, beady Longlegs. Maybe with the exception of Overwatch's Mercy, but I think we can all agree that remaining dead is preferable to having anything to do with Activision Blizzard. When a Pikmin inevitably perishes under your command, you might get upset, but the game will see to it that that doesn't last. Pikmin are infinitely replaceable after all. Lost a Pikmin to the mandibles of a shearwig? Just use the bug's body to make 4 fresh new peons in their place. You'll never grow attached to any of your individual Pikmin slaves anyway. How could you when they all look exactly the same? You see, the Pikmin games slowly but surely drill out any hint of empathy in you. By the end of the game, you'll throw Pikmin armed with explosive bomb rocks down the gullet of an Emperor Bullbax by the dozen without batting an eye. They'll become nothing more than necessary sacrifices to get back Olimar's secret safe. I mean, you can't leave the planet without your piggy bank, can you? Once players are properly trained with the level of heartless sociopathy that would instantly land them a management job in Silicon Valley, they're primed and ready for Pikmin 2, where any false pretense of the nobility of surviving against the odds that the first game touted is thrown out the window. The second time around, Olimar resumes lording over the Pikmin for none other than the prospect of cold, hard profit, looting the planet of its valuable resources. Soon enough, you'll direct your lowly servants to carry back such treasures as an empty coffee creamer cup, while under the artillery fire of a Gatling Groink, in hopes of making a quick buck. This all begs the question, why do the Pikmin do it? What do they even get out of it? Especially when their fanatical subservience isn't exclusively limited to Olimar either. Both Pikmin 3 and 4 see the Pikmin gladly shackling themselves to the whims of whichever soulless tyrant lands on their planet. Do they submit in the hopes of improving their livelihoods? It's true that Olimar and his successors tried to grow the Pikmin population 100 times over, but this comes at the cost of the quality of the Pikmin's individual lives. They live carefree before falling in line behind the latest autocrat, where nothing but endless and backbreaking work and a violent end awaits them. Perhaps they do it for their own safety then? After all, the aforementioned despots have proven more than able in wrangling the Pikmin into a fearsome fighting force, capable of taking down titans. Yet the Pikmin only come to blows against such gargantuan horrors precisely by following those very same overlords on their unending quests to slake their unquenchable avarice, often at the cost of gruesome casualties. Furthermore, these dictators habitually bring their Pikmin's ecosystems to absolute ruin, leaving the world barren as they slay anything and everything in sight. Not even harmless butterflies are safe from their bloody warpaths. Butterflies, the only insect Noah gladly welcomed on the Ark, unlike the thousands of species of mosquitoes. Finally, after all's said and done, the oppressors leave the Pikmin behind, time and again, without a care for the land they ruined, nor a single tear for all the lives they ended in the process. The Pikmin must then brave the new world left in their departed warlord's wake. And if the piddling few Pikmin alive at the beginning of any of the game's sequels are anything to go by, what follows must mirror the horrors of Mao Zedong's Great Famine. Perhaps that also gives us a hint as to Pikmin's underlying theme. While it's tempting to label Pikmin as a story of slavery, this isn't necessarily accurate. Slavery is often imposed under the threat of violence or punishment, yet Olimar does nothing of the sort. In fact, the Pikmin are eagerly complicit in their own servitude. Just as the loyal subjects of the People's Republic of China were in following Mao's disastrous policies that ultimately left untold millions dead. Indeed, Pikmin is a story of mass movements and the ruthless authoritarians that lead them. Allow me to return to the words of Eric Hoffer. In his seminal book, The True Believer, Thoughts on the Nature of Mass Movements, Hoffer wrote, "A mass movement appeals not to those intent on bolstering and advancing a cherished self, but to those who crave to be rid of an unwanted self. A mass movement attracts and holds a following not because it can satisfy the desire for self-advancement, but because it can satisfy the passion for self-renunciation. In essence, Pikmin desire to be ruled, not for their own benefit, but rather to be freed of bearing the burden of commanding their own fate for themselves. As part of a mass movement under someone else's leadership, they bypass the soul-searching necessary in finding value in one's own existence, in favor of one that's foisted upon them through effort of another. Even perishing while following the movement is seen as a blessing, as it gives their deaths meaning, one that was invented for them rather than painstakingly earned. As Hoffer puts it, people whose lives are barren and insecure seem to show a greater willingness to obey than people who are self-sufficient and self-confident. To the frustrated, freedom from responsibility is more attractive than freedom from restraint. They're eager to barter their independence for the relief of the burdens of willing, deciding, and being responsible for inevitable failure. They willingly abdicate the directing of their lives to those who want to plan, command, and shoulder all responsibility. But the truth of the matter is that the Pikmin don't need Olimar or anyone else to achieve such goals. They have the power within themselves to band together and reach even greater heights that will lead to lasting success and stability on their own terms. This is a message we should all take to heart, as we all too often follow in the Pikmin's footsteps, letting the great and powerful potential inside each and every one of us lie untapped or, even worse, misused and abused by tyrants who seek to use us as nothing more than pawns. So next time you play a Pikmin game, remember to ask yourself this: how long are we going to have to wait till we get Pikmin 5? After sulking over that, then ask what lesson you'll take from the game. Are you going to blindly throw yourself to the next silver-tongued, charismatic leader who promises you the world, only to ultimately be used as a mere tool and thrown away in their insane power plays? Will you take on the mantle of the power-mad Machiavellian dictator for yourself, ruining the lives of others for your own gain? Or will you finally break the cycle and forge a new path by taking on the onus of responsibility yourself, finding a greater purpose, a higher calling for your own life? Maybe then someday you can find true freedom and happiness and help others achieve the same by voting for Chris Chappell for Supreme Leader for Life. It's the last vote you'll ever need. Thank you for watching Deep Thoughts While Gaming. And remember, when I'm in charge, there'll be mandatory Taco Tuesdays, followed by Killing Fields Wednesdays. Deep Thoughts While Gaming is only possible because of capitalism. To support continued episodes, please hit that join button. You'll be rewarded with exclusive emojis, a Discord server, live stream videos, and slavery to my indomitable will. And check out this video about Animal Crossing and your enslavement to materialism.